We have the official details when it comes to the Nick Chubb signing. Right now, from Ian Rappaport, literally just minutes ago, new Texans running back Nick Chubb has now passed his physical and signed with the Houston Texans. Per sources, the former Browns Pro Bowler agreed to terms over the weekend and is getting a one-year deal, $2.5 million, that can be up to $5 million in value. Now, this is big. Now, I'll tell you in just a moment about Diana Rossini's reporting, but reportedly, Nick Chubb chose Houston over multiple other teams, and he didn't really care about the money. So welcome to Houston, Nick Chubb. Once again, it's a one-year, $2.5 million deal that could be up to $5 million. Texans news. The Texans have officially signed former Browns running back Nick Chubb. We've got maybe one of the scariest backfields in the entire AFC, with Chubb joining forces with Joe Mixon. A nice 1-2 punch. Cannot wait to see these guys out on the field. And, reportedly, he actually took less money to come with the Houston Texans. This coming from Diana Rossini. The Texans are expected to sign Nick Chubb to a one-year deal, pending physical. Obviously, he passed that physical. Chubb received more lucrative offers from other teams, but could sign a more incentive-laden contract to join Joe Mixon and Houston's backfield. So he took less, a full-up money. Just, it's yours, guaranteed, to sign with the Houston Texans and taking a chance on him and this team. And I absolutely love that. That's some swarm mentality right there. And I want every single person right now, go in the comment section and let's welcome Nick Chubb to the city of Houston. Go down and spam those H's. I know Texans players, I know free agents and different people watch these shows. And if he comes across it, I wanted him to see nothing but those H's welcoming Nick Chubb to the 281, the 832, the city of Houston. Welcome Nick Chubb to the Houston Texans. Now, the last 4 seasons for Chubb, obviously the last 2 years, coming off injury, the reason why the Texans were able to sign him to a cheaper one-year contract for somebody who in 2022 was regarded as a top 5 running back in the National Football League. Over 1,500 yards, 5.1 yards per carry, 13 total touchdowns on the year. He was an absolute unit whenever he played for the Browns in 2022. And not only that, he offers some pass blocking as well that can help out this team tremendously, especially because last year protecting C.J. Stroud was a issue for this Texans offense. Not just the guys up front, not just the offensive linemen, also the tight ends and the running backs were not able to protect C.J. Stroud. And he brings, a lot of veteran presence and somebody who can come in immediately and help out a ton. But are the Texans getting a healthy Chubb? Back-to-back seasons, like I said, with season-ending injuries in 2023. He had that gruesome knee injury during the Browns' second game of the season. And then last year came back midway through. And then towards the end of the year had that broken foot that took him out of playing the rest of the 2024 season with the Cleveland Browns. But he looks pretty healthy, though, right? Squatting 500-plus pounds. He's doing a ton of agility work, was jumping over hurdles the other day. And I do think he has a dynamic 1-2 punch with him and Joe Mixon in this backfield, right? Like Joe Mixon, RB1, Nick Chubb, RB2, British Brooks, Jakob Johnson, maybe the fullback. And I know, they don't complement each other the best, but I still want 2 bruising backs in my backfield. If Chubb can get back to a semblance of what he was, you have easily the best backfield, one of the best backfields in the AFC. And then you add in Texans rookie Woody Marks, who can catch the ball out of the backfield. You kind of have it all with those 3 guys. But the question then lies with some of the other guys in this Texans running back room. Dare Agumbawale, who was one of the first guys re-signed to the Houston Texans once the NFL offseason started. Is he a roster lock? Because he doesn't give you a ton in terms of, carrying the ball and being a, bell cow back type of guy, but he brings you a ton of value in other places, right? A really good special teams guy, really good in pass blocking situations. And I know it's silly, but if anything happens to Kaimi Fairbairn, he's been able to make like 30-yard field goals before in the past. So having that on your roster does give you some sense of, security in the special teams department. And then Dameon Pierce, what happens with him? Who, his rookie season, we all thought he was going to be the next guy up in Houston. Obviously, 2023, 2024 didn't pan out as such. So do the Texans look to trade him? Do they look to cut him? What do they do with Dameon Pierce? I'm going to ask you folks at home, because I really do think it comes down to these two guys and who the Texans want to keep. Who do you think has a better chance to make the roster? If you think it's Ogunbowale type O, if you think it's Dameon Pierce type P, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Me personally, I do think it's Dare Ogunbowale, mostly because he more knows his role, and being a RB3, RB4 won't see the field a ton, but can help in special teams, where I think Dameon Pierce still feels like he can add value to a team as a backup running back, a rotation guy on a team that allows him to get carries. And I don't know with this current Texans roster if he's going to be allotted any carries, even if he does make the roster. If he's cut or traded, the Texans save $1.1 million. They only have $203,000 in dead money. Like I said, he did show a lot of promise his rookie season. So could a team be interested in possibly trading for Dameon Pierce? That is the big question. And if the Texans do end up trading Dameon Pierce, you could probably expect similar compensation to what the Texans got Christian Kirk for, right? A guy who looks like might end up getting cut if a team doesn't trade for him. So I could see the Texans at some point making a move of like, okay, yeah, we're going to go ahead and cut Dameon Pierce, not make it official for 24 hours, and field calls for any teams that want to possibly trade a 7th-round pick for Pierce rather than let him hit the waiver wire. I think that's the only thing you'll be able to get really at this point for Dameon Pierce when it comes to a trade. Now, coming up, I have more breakdown, but if you need a Texans lid, I got you covered. It's hot outside. It's sunny. We're about to start getting into those upper 90s, 100-degree days, especially with that Houston humidity. Yeah, swamp. But I can help you out right here. Get a Texans hat. Make sure you can cover up at least a little bit from the sun. Go to this link right here, chatsports.com/Texans hats. All different shapes, sizes available. They have the draft hats. They have a bunch of hats on sale. The Salute to Service hat. They have, the Texans secondary logo hats. All of these available on the website while supplies last. You never know when one of these hats is going to sell out. So go right now, chatsports.com/Texans hat. That link will be in the comment section and description of today's program. Now, I mentioned Dameon Pierce trade. So here's some of the destinations that I think could make sense of teams willing to depart from a, 2026 or even 2027 7th-round pick. The Chicago Bears. They were interested at one point in Nick Chubb as well, but maybe they are looking for another bruising back, and they can settle on Dameon Pierce. The Dallas Cowboys, they have, a ton of question marks coming in that running back room. They have Javonte Williams. They drafted Jaden Blue. Could they add another guy in Dameon Pierce to fight for a roster spot? The New Orleans Saints, kind of the same situation behind Alvin Kamara, who a lot of people had rumored the Saints maybe moving on from. They doubled down. They kept Kamara, but behind him as the RB2, Kendre Miller, some of the other guys on that roster having some injury issues. Maybe they bring in a Pierce to be that running back too. Maybe that, thunder to Alvin Kamara's lightning. And the Carolina Panthers are another team that I could see maybe looking for a Dameon Pierce. Jonathan Brooks, before the season even started, really sad story for that young man. Already having another season-ending injury, won't play in 2025, so maybe they want to add another running back after losing Brooks for the season. I could see the Texans keeping him, but, through training camp, letting him fight for a roster spot. But I think it all depends on whether or not Pierce wants to battle for a roster spot. Does he want to battle for that RB4 spot, RB3 spot? Because I don't think he really touches or stands a chance at being RB1 or RB2 on this team. If he's not willing to do that, I could see the Texans doing what's best for Pierce and either just, cutting bait with him, releasing him, letting him pick a team, or like I said, releasing him and then that next 24 hours before it's official, fielding calls from teams that are interested in trading for Dameon Pierce and end up making a move for him. So that's all I got for you on today's show. Once again, congratulations, Nick Chubb, on becoming the newest member of the Houston Texans. And if you made it to the end of the video, never miss a moment. I got you in the latest updates around your Houston Texans all year long, rain or shine, 100-degree weather, or, if it's freezing outside, I got you covered here on Texans Today with the latest Houston Texans news and rumors.